The following is an excerpt from the book Experiences of Thought by Anthony Kahn, available now on Amazon.com and Kindle. Outside the box, mind over matter. We have suggested in the last section the existence of a ghost in the machine, a mind that perceives and is separate from the mechanical brain and body. Through the course of the last two chapters, we have examined the logical nature, both of the universe in which we live and the organization of our thoughts. It all seems quite reasonable that as creatures who have evolved in accordance with the logicalness of the universe around us, we would exhibit many similar properties. But suppose the conventional way of envisaging the mind as distinct from the brain, mind-body dualism, is completely upside down. Suppose that we are not a ghost living in a biological machine. Suppose that the biological machine is in fact dwelling inside the ghost. Have you ever thought about where precisely you exist within your body? Do you really feel as present in your feet as you do in your head? Sure, feeling comes to us from our feet and we know they are there, but the seat of our thoughts would seem to be our head. But where in our head? Do our thoughts and thus the true us sit at a specific point, say just behind the eyes or between the ears perhaps? Or are they spread throughout our whole brain? If you reflect on it for a while, it is very hard to come to any conclusion. If you concentrate on any precise point within your head, it is really just like the feet, in that you know there are sensations that can reach you from there, but you have no particular sense of being at a specific place. You just know that you are inside your head. What makes the head special compared with the rest of the body? Whilst in truth we have many senses, the big five are undeniably those of sight, hearing, smell, taste, and touch. 4 of those 5 key senses exist only within the confines of the head. It is only the ability to feel that extends throughout the entire body. Perhaps then the reason for our persistent notion that thoughts emanate from our head is not so much because our brain is processing information there, but rather because our perspective is predominantly wrought from the information we are receiving from our sensory organs positioned there. But if that is indeed the case, then there is actually no good reason to say that our thoughts originate more from our head than our feet, only that our perspective does. What if, in actual fact, our thoughts and our capacity for experience and qualia do not come from our body at all? What if we aren't anywhere in time and space at all, but rather time and space themselves exist within us? This seems rather far-fetched at first perhaps, but if you think back to our discussions in Chapter 3, you will remember that space and time are rather stranger than our experiences of them in everyday life tend to suggest. Key among the strangeness that we discussed is the relativity of their form and their dependence on matter and energy. We noted that both space and time really only take any meaning from the events that are said to take place within them. The existence of both act to prevent the universe from being a singularity, with all events mixed up together in dimensionless oblivion. They give matter and energy a stage on which to perform. In a nutshell, time and space are remarkable organizational tools, allowing us to separate and group events, and thus give them form. Perhaps both are just part of the logical operation of the mind, and it is actually the mind itself that converts a singularity of information into an expansive universe. We spoke in section 3.5 about some of the weirdness of quantum mechanics and the existence of wave-like probability distributions of system parameters prior to observation, whereupon some particular realization of the distribution takes place. Put simply, a particle exists in many locations simultaneously as a wave function, until that wave function collapses and the particle chooses a position upon an observation being made. But what is an observation? Just as there are many interpretations of quantum mechanics, there is no certainty with regard to what truly causes a wave function to collapse upon observation. It is generally understood that an observer need not be a conscious being, but can instead be any measuring device. This said, we must always return to that simple fact that underlies all that of which we have knowledge. Our entire knowledge is our experience. If there is an outside world, all we know of it is our own experience. The final step in any quantum experiment is our awareness of the result, and the experiment is not over until we have knowledge that it is over. As with all empirical observations, the result is entangled with the mind itself, for our mind is all that we truly know, and it cannot be cleanly separated from that which we think of as the outside world. Perhaps we should really be putting mind over matter if we are to have any hope of ever understanding the deeper mysteries of our universe.